How's it going, guys? My name's Dante, aka Donny Boy, and welcome back to my channel where today we're doing something a little bit different. That's right, I'm not in front of the camera, I'm actually sitting behind the camera, sitting behind my mic, and I'm going to be doing a thoughts on what I thought about the new Marvel Avengers game. That's right, I got to play the beta over the weekend, and I'm going to let you know about each character, what I thought about them, and also my likes and dislikes of the rest of the game, and if you should buy it or not. So let's get straight into it. So first off, I'm going to be talking about each of the characters. The one I'm going to talk about first is Kamala Khan. Now, she's probably the character that I didn't like playing as the most. I didn't like her character just in general. I know she's a relatively new character to the Marvel universe. She was only introduced in 2013, and they stuck pretty close to the comics where she got her powers in like a different storyline, or like it was like a aftermath of, I think, the Inhumanities storyline. I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, that's it. The Inhumanities storyline, and then she assumes the name of Miss Marvel. The things I don't like about her character, that she just seems like this big, massive fangirl that they're just trying to force onto the audience, where I wonder where Disney has done that before. And that is exactly what she feels like, to be honest. In terms of her gameplay, she's relatively fun. She's not all that exciting, to be honest. She more seems like Stretch Armstrong than anything in the game. I mean, she doesn't look all that good whenever you're fighting, or whenever she's doing like her big stretch arms or stretch foots or anything like that. Her main ability is pretty cool. She grows like, I don't know, she's like 10 foot tall and just absolutely wrecks everyone, which is pretty fun as to play as her. The next one I'm going to be talking about is the Hulk, which disappointed me the most, actually. I think Hulk is probably the least fun to play in, at least in the beta. I don't really like his ability tree. I don't really like all his other abilities. His fighting style I'm not a big fan of either. His main ability is pretty crappy. It's just like a massive clap, where all the other abilities seem to last a bit longer. It gives them like an extra boost, more or less, and kind of makes you a little bit feel invulnerable and like a badass, where the Hulk's one is just like something that's very sudden, and it doesn't really seem to do all that much effect either. And the one thing I didn't like about the Hulk the most is that when you play as him, you are a massive, obviously Hulk is a huge character, and whenever you're playing as him, it just feels like everything is aiming towards you. And the reason why that's not all that good is because his health doesn't feel all that much. You think that being the Hulk, being as big as him, as powerful as he is in the comics and in the movies as well, is that you'd think he'd be a massive tank and that he could just take on anything, where it feels like his health is the exact same as everyone else's. And considering how big your character is, it feels like whenever you play as him, everything is just aiming at you, and you die very quickly. I think I went down as the Hulk the most, which is probably not what you want to go down as the Hulk. You think that he'd be a lot more tankier than he actually is. Like I said, he doesn't have that much health, and everything on the map is just going for you because you're this big green, this big green character in the map, when everyone else is just normal human size. Now, the next character is Black Widow. I got to play as Black Widow a fair amount, and I really liked Black Widow. I didn't like her skill tree all that much. I don't like her the changing between the pistols and the submachine guns. The pistols probably seem a little bit better. Submachine guns just seem a little bit meh. But in terms of her abilities, are really cool. Where you can turn not just her, but your whole entire team invisible. That is really awesome. And her main ability is sick, where you put her two buttons together and you have like this massive electric stick. You feel like a badass. You move so quickly, and the combat is so fluid whenever you put those two sticks together. Usually the rest of the combat kind of feels a little bit stiff when you're using her main ability. It is really cool, and really fluid as well. And then the last character that I got to play as, and probably my favorite, was Iron Man. I definitely feel like Iron Man is the strongest character in this game so far. I really like his abilities tree. I really like how you can change between the basic plasma cannon, the lasers and then the rockets. The lasers are cool. The lasers were definitely my favorite to use. I definitely like the combos that you can get out of that and the ability tree that you can level up, especially for the lasers. I really think like that is his strongest part. And you can fly around. You can goddamn fly around as Iron Man, and that it is very cool. But I'm gonna go into it a little bit later in the video of why they kind of effed up when it comes to that as well. And one thing I completely forgot to mention, this is me editing the video now, is the Hulkbuster suit. The Hulkbuster suit is Iron Man's main ability, and the Hulkbuster suit is absolutely awesome. You become absolutely invulnerable, and it's like on a timer, which is fair enough, and it just, you wreck absolutely everything. And Iron Man is, from those things like using the lasers and the Hulkbuster suit, definitely makes him the strongest character so far. And now we're going into my likes and dislikes of the game. That's right. I think I'm going to go into my dislikes first, as unfortunately there is a lot more dislikes than there is. I think a few of these are fine because look, it is a beta. There is I think a couple more months of this game gets released in October. I can't remember exactly. Or September, I can't remember, but the things that I give a little bit of a pass for, but still happen, and it's still good to mention them more or less as well. The main one though, which I kind of feel like can't let them give it off with a pass, was it wasn't, a lot of people were having optimization problems. I was having a lot recording this game. I put a lot of my graphics to low anyways. I feel like I don't have the most powerful computer in the world, but it is still really, really good. I still have a decent hardware, relatively new hardware as well, and considering that I was struggling to record the game on low and medium settings as well was kind of crappy. I know people who were just having trouble even just running the game on their PCs on low settings, not recording it, just running it. And he was telling me that there was a lot more other people on the internet that were having massive problems just running the game as well. Now, I did experience a couple of crashes and glitches as well, which the crashes kind of a bit, the game did freeze for me a couple times, and then one of the times it completely crashed, and then the other time it just froze, and that was it. It just didn't move. And then there was also a couple of glitches where it was in the main, not the prologue, but the first mission when you're playing with Kamala Khan and Hulk. When you play as Khan, there was a big room where you got to activate switches, and then enemies come and fight you. And then once you finish off the enemies, you got to activate the next switch. There was one point where the game thought I defeated all the enemies, but the game didn't think that there was still, it still thought that there was someone left, but there wasn't. And I was running around like a headless chook for I think about 10 minutes trying to figure out what the hell happened. Quit, went back to it, and then I was like, the game just didn't work. That was it. And then I had like this small Hulk floor glitch where it looked like the Hulk was falling down, but that's just something really, really small. I mean, worth to mention, but something small. And now onto the actual content of the game. My first thing is Abomination. He lives up to his name in this game because he looks like Killer Croc. I'm saying it right now. I thought he was Killer Croc from the Arkham series. He looks like Killer Croc. Look at him. He looks like a big lizard. I don't really like his design all that much. And speaking of Abomination and bosses, there was 3 bosses that you play. There was Taskmaster in the prologue, which everyone has seen. There was Abomination. There was like this big war machine that you play against. The Taskmaster and Abomination both felt the same. The boss fights feel like Dark Souls. The reason for that is because all it is dodge and hit, dodge and hit, dodge and hit. That's it. That's how you fight. Besides the big war machine, which was a little bit different, but it was very repetitive as well, where it was just hit the thing that's where it says to, back off for a while, hit it again, back off, hit this part, back off, hit this part, back off, hit this part. That was literally it. That was all. And speaking of stuff like that, the game felt very repetitive. I know it's beta, but we have to go off of what we're given, and what we're giving felt repetitive. If these are what the missions are gonna be like in the final game, this game is not looking so good. The missions all felt kind of the same, just in different locations. Some were a little bit more open where you could explore, and I'm using that word very tightly. You could kind of explore that section of the level, different sections of the level, but it wasn't like a big open world, which I think the game could have paid off a lot better being an open world, to be honest. I think the one mission that I liked the most was the one where you're in the city, and the reason for that was I was playing as Iron Man and I was just flying around the city having so much fun until I hit the goddamn skybox. And the skybox is so low. You're giving us characters like Iron Man and the Hulk, and you're not going to let us explore around. That just seems like it's a little bit lazy. Like you just don't want us to be able to actually use the characters to the full extent. And especially when you get to play as Thor, he can fly around as well. You've got all these characters who can fly and jump, and even Black Widow can get around very, very well with her grappling hook. And it's almost like you're not letting us do that. You're just capping these characters that have so much potential. Imagine a Spider-Man game where you could only swing around, you know, in buildings that were like half the height and you couldn't get on top of buildings. Imagine that. Imagine Spider-Man games are like the old Spider-Man 2 PC game. That's what it goddamn feels like. And now when it comes to the gear that you collect in the games, I really like how you can collect all different gear and they all have different levels and different power and you can level up. I don't like the fact that once you kind of pick a character, it feels like you have to stick to that character, because you're gonna level up that character, and if you want to level up other characters, you're gonna have to go back and do lower level missions, and this game feels like you're not gonna want to do that. You know, once you finish a mission, you kind of do it and you don't have that sense of excitement where it's like, man, I really want to play that mission again. You know, even missions that I kind of enjoyed a little bit, once I finished them, I was like, can I just go on to the next one? And then the game didn't save properly, and the next day I had to do a mission again, and I was dreading it so badly finishing, because I wanted to make sure that I completely finished all the missions to see if there was anything else. For some reason, when I finished the Iconic Hulk mission, which didn't feel like an Iconic Hulk mission, just felt like a mission from the game that they made up, it didn't say that I completed it. It still doesn't say that I completed it. I don't know why. I literally finished it twice. But well, yeah, before I get off track too much, when it comes to the gear is really cool how you can collect it and upgrade your characters. The one thing that I don't like about it is that it doesn't show up on your character. I know that they have skins and stuff like that, but I feel like Square Enix could have worked out a way to be able to implement the gear onto the characters. It just doesn't feel like it's your character. I think the games that I'm seeing similarities to this the most, to me, two games stand out when it comes to this game is Destiny and Anthem. The reason for Destiny is that this game just feels like a Destiny skin. It really does. It really feels like it. But the thing with Destiny is that when you collect different gear, you can put it on and show it off to other people. With this game, if you collect, say if you find a legendary item, you can't show it off. You can't show it off, and you know, you can collect, especially with Black Widow. Black Widow looks so cool, where you can collect different belts and different wrist rockets and all that kind of stuff, and you can't show it off. It's just there. It helps. I don't even know how it boosts your character, more or less. It doesn't really feel like it does anything as well, and it just be so much better if you could actually see like different colored belts that you can get and different types and different type of wrist rockets. I mean, you can collect like different cores and different boosters for the hands and stuff like that. It'd be cool if that could show off. Like, you just start off with his basic circle, and then you could develop into the upside down triangle, I guess it was. whatever the next element that he made in Iron Man 2, you can get that, and it changes. But it doesn't do that, and it just feels, you know, a little bit underwhelming whenever you collect a new item. You collect it and you just go, oh, cool, I got a new item. This means I just won't suck as much with against enemies. I don't know how, but I just don't suck as much now. Now to a couple of things that I did like about the game. I feel like the game is a lot better to play with others. I played it with a mate, and I feel like I had a lot more fun playing with him than I did playing the game by myself. I feel like that's what the game is aiming for, to be able to play it with others. They did put a lot of Easter eggs in this game where you can collect different classic comics and stuff like that. That's a good homage to the fans. This game's similar to like Endgame. It's just a homage to the fans. Which is what Endgame is, and that's exactly what I feel like this game is. The companion system is really good. The AI for the companion system, I feel like, works really well. They hold themselves up pretty well. I think I only had one issue in it when I was playing one of the missions, and Iron Man was just sitting there at the start of the mission and he wasn't even moving. But like I said, that's a beta. Crap like that happens, it's just fair enough. But for the rest of the game, I feel like the companion system works very well. Now to what I think is probably the best aspect of the game, which I don't think they did enough justice for, which is the story. I feel like the story is very good story, but they didn't do enough justice for it because of the way the game is. It's a very single player linear game, and I feel like in an open world game, an RPG game, they could have done so much more with this story. It is such a good story to go by and such a good storyline, but they're just not doing it enough justice with the way the game is set out. And if these are the way the missions are going to play out, it is not going to do the story enough justice. It would be such a much better game if you could play as Iron Man and fly throughout the city, and you have to avoid aim robots and all that kind of stuff and keep a little bit more hidden. But it would be so much better jumping from building to building as the Hulk, flying through as Iron Man, as Thor, staying hidden with Black Widow and Hawkeye, blending in as Tony Stark, or as Bruce Banner, going from the Hulk to Bruce. Could you imagine how cool that would be? Going from the Hulk to Bruce Banner back to the Hulk. That would be so much better and would do the story so much more. Like, this story is such a rich story and such a good storyline to go off, but you're just not doing it enough justice. Alright guys, that's going to have to do it for this video right here. This video is just my personal opinion of the game. You might have played the game and you might have liked it. That's fair enough. Me, myself, I didn't like it all that much. But you know, that's just my opinion. Now, if you're wondering if I would recommend this game, if you're a big Marvel fan and you've seen the gameplay, you've seen this video, you disagree with me, you've played the beta yourself and you really like it, then yeah, get it. If you're a massive Marvel fan, or you seem to like it, then get it. But if you're just a casual gamer, or you're on the fence about this game, you're like, should I buy it? Should I not? I want someone else's opinion. I would say no. I would say save your money for something else. Save it for Cyberpunk. Because that right there is a proper AAA title game. This game doesn't feel like, you know, it had so much potential in it, but I feel like they've just landed short and gone a bit cheap and lazy with the game. So if you're a massive Marvel fan, or you played the beta and you like it, then get it. But if you're on the fence about it, I would recommend saving your money for something else. But that's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me, and that's fair enough, because it's a free world. Everyone can have their own opinion. But that's gonna have to do it for this video right here. So if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe for more stuff. I usually don't do stuff like this. I usually just play games and not really give my thoughts, but I felt like this was the best for this type of game, considering it was a beta. Leave a like, subscribe for more, and I'll see you in my next video of whatever the hell it goddamn may be.